I get to be creative and I get to kind of push those limits, and it's awesome and humbling to see that, like, you know, I can produce a wheel and come up with a design, and, you know, hundreds of people want to put it on their truck. It's pretty cool. Drawing, more or less, I was an art student through middle school and high school. I always enjoyed art class. I took woodworking. I took that opportunity I had to design wheels and kind of ran with it. Started coming up with multiple designs. Yeah, we went from nobody's to, you know, the old zero to hero thing in a matter of months. You know, the Lincoln was our flagship wheel that Sean came up with, and it was awesome because that wheel pretty much launched us, you know, to one of the #1 wheel companies in the United States. It's just been insane, and in less, you know, a little over a year, we've only been at this, and it's pretty crazy. Specifically relating to the Roosevelt, it was one of the bigger gambles I think we've taken so far, and there's a lot of hit or miss. I mean, it's not always. I mean, I'll draw it up and I'll think it's a really cool idea in my head, and then I'll draw it, and then, you know, we'll have it rendered, and it just looks nothing like it. There's usually, I would say, a dozen at least on the very minimal changes that we make, and that's that's wheels that we sometimes don't even push to production. It's always a work in progress. It's not always like, you know, I draw something on a piece of paper and it's a, you know, a hit. When I first drew it up, it was kind of like 50-50. You guys loved it. I think the car guys loved it more than the truck guys. And it's a full concave wheel. Not a whole lot of, you know, truck wheels are full concave. There's, you know, a handful of them out on the market, but it's one of those designs that, like, it could either go really, really well or really, really bad. You know, we did some of the sneak peeks, and, like, it was just overwhelmingly positive. So it's been awesome to see that the gamble I took, and, you know, the faith that the team had in me to come up with this wheel pay off. I mean, I really try to come out with something that's super unique and, you know, unlike no other thing. And I think the Roosevelt is the perfect example of that. It was kind of me saying, I'm gonna get a little wild with this one and see how it goes. And I can't put into words how much, you know, the feedback helps me and means to me, because it's tough coming out with these wheel designs. Yeah, it's awesome and humbling to see that, like, you know, I can produce a wheel and come up with a design, and, you know, hundreds of people want to put it on their truck. It's pretty cool.